All right, FightHype.com, Shawn Zattel. Always a pleasure to be joined by the two-time welterweight champion of the world. He'll be calling a lot of the action Saturday night on Fox pay-per-view. Big fight, WBA world title fight, Yordenis Ugas against Pacquiao. You fought and defeated Ugas to defend your belt, and you sparred with Manny Pacquiao when he was at his absolute peak.
Yeah.
How is? Go ahead, Shawn.
I mean, when you say all that, I mean, a lot of people consider me to have the most, I guess, information, facts, experience, and so on with both those gentlemen. Even though I never actually fought Manny to do, I don't know, at least 50 rounds with the guy. I mean, I think that says a lot, but never mind that. I think it's going to be a much better fight, entertainment-wise, than a lot of people expect. I think that this is not the fight that we expected, but I think we're going to get a lot of action. Not the same type of action, but a lot of action. It's going to be a good fight.
Do you think this is going to be Manny's last fight, Shawn?
I don't know. You know, talking to you offline, I kind of got the inclination that, it all depends on how this one goes for him. And I think if it goes the way he wants it to, I think then he'll consider whether or not he wants to keep going. And not to take anything from Yordenis Ugas, but when you talk about the level that Manny has probably been on since we met him, it's kind of like night and day between the two guys. So once you get beat by night or day, you pick one in Yordenis, I think that then Manny will really have to evaluate some things and figure out whether or not he wants to keep going. So I think that it really depends on if he wins or loses this fight.
More likely to keep going if he wins, or more likely to hang it up?
More likely to keep going if he wins. I think, again, if he loses, he's losing to a guy who doesn't have a high punch output, who doesn't punch in combination, have good footwork, a lot of the components that it takes to be on the level that Manny's been on for so long. I think then he would have to evaluate some things and go from there.
You brought up the levels, obviously.
Yeah.
Would you say that Yordenis Ugas, good fighter, but is he on the level of Spence and Thurman when you fought them, or semi-step below, or what would you say?
I would say a considerable step below.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that is because Yordenis he's not a complicated boxer. And I'm not saying that in order to be good or great, you have to be complicated, but I think that the adjustments that my dad and I made going to the ring weren't really adjustments that we made, in camp. I think that we a lot of fighters we fight, we look for moments to really step to guys and put them on their butts. But with Yordenis going to the ring, my dad says, hey, you're faster, you're slicker, you got better feet, use that all night, and we're going to win this fight. And that's essentially what we did. There's not many people you can do that with. Keith Thurman, you go to the ring with fast hands and quick feet for
power too,
maybe, right? Yeah. Well, you go to the ring with that for 2 or 3 rounds, he's gonna make some adjustments, and then the speed and the quickness may not be all you need against Keith. And the same goes for Errol Spence. Neither of those guys they don't have these spectacular movements that will make you, that are complicated, but they'll straight up, you give them one thing and then they'll take that away from you and force you to make adjustments. Yordenis really isn't that type of fighter. He's just a very solid fighter and very good at what he does, a lot like most Cuban fighters. Most Cuban fighters are very solid and great at exactly what they do. He's a really good boxer. If he can find a moment to touch you with some power, he might hurt you, so I think that's what he's got going for him in this fight.
Yeah, how is this punching power?
He's strong.
Okay.
I don't think
What's the difference between a strong guy and a guy who can actually punch hard?
I think the difference, so what I said with Manny, if you compare the power of Manny and Yordenis, I think that Manny has a pop. It stings you. It kind of stuns you. You don't forget about that punch, With Yordenis, there were times where he might have hit me and I felt it. But it wasn't anything that was like alarming about it or anything like that. So that's why I say, there's more strength coming from Yordenis than it is what a lot of people would call power.
Right.
Would be more like a pop or a blast that you get from Manny, or used to get from Manny at least.
Now, it's Yordenis, he can counter, he's got good timing, but he does it going forward. A lot of counter punchers, it's backward. Is he going to be able to have the speed you know, especially to the body. I never seen Manny get hit with body shots in the center of the ring. Only if you get him to the ropes. Is he going to be able to have the speed to time those body shots and time that you know, to counter punches?
I think that for Yordenis, I think that winning the fight he's going to have to rely on being able to get Manny's body, and then try to, I guess, for the sake of words, work his way up from there.
Right.
He's gonna have to slow down Manny, and he's also gonna have to not wait it out, but kind of get through some rounds, because early on, I think, is when Manny's
weather the storm.
He's got to weather the storm. Thank you. I think that early on is where Manny's going to be the most dangerous, and if Yordenis isn't able to get out of the way some of that speed, especially that straight left hand. Silas says he's a master at southpaw, and I liked hearing that, because I think that makes the fight more competitive. If he's not ready for that southpaw stance, then it's, you know, we're kind of looking at a beginning and an end. But the fact that Silas said today, this guy's a master with southpaws, that makes me feel good. So it makes me feel like we're going to get a much better fight than I think a lot of people anticipate.
And lastly, Shawn, with this fight, you know, I'm hearing you did a nice quick breakdown for PBC where you said as long as Pacquiao doesn't fight this guy toe-to-toe, he should be okay. Yeah. But I'm thinking to myself, you know, Manny is almost always in a war. So what did you mean by that? You know, because it seems like that's usually his style. He fights a guy. But what do you mean?
Manny can start and finish the exchanges with the best of them. He's always been able to do that. He can do that with Yordenis Ugas. The thing is, rounds probably 8 through 12, I don't think Manny's going to have the same type of steam that he has early on. And I think that was more so what I meant. Later on in the fight, he needs to continue to move and use his jab and try to stay on the outside and force Yordenis to use his feet and his hands together. That's where I think that Yordenis has problems. Certainly he had problems with my movement, and I was able to move and punch. And I think that is what I meant. What I meant is early on, Manny won't have a problem exchanging and getting into that firefight with Yordenis. I don't see Yordenis being able to catch Manny with anything early, but later on in the fight, it will be a problem. It will be a problem. I'll go on record for saying that the later this fight goes, it will be more of a problem for Manny than it will be for Yordenis Ugas.
What chances do you give of Manny of putting him away before it has to get to deep waters?
I think he's got to be able to keep his foot on the gas pedal, which I feel is kind of his Achilles heel now. I think that those moments come, and I think that he pulls away, and I don't know, man. That could be a factor of his age. I think that maybe his age doesn't allow him to have the type of energy systems or high rate at those energy systems that he used to. He used to be able to jump on guys and pounce on them and get them out of there. And I think that now it's like, hey, if that didn't work, let me get back to, you know, managing this fight. And again, there's no problem with Manny managing this fight, but the early Manny can get on him, the better for Manny.
Great breakdown, man. You should think of starting a podcast or something.
I should probably stick with the Porterweight podcast.
Oh, there you go.
How about that?
There we go. Let's plug it.
The Porterweight podcast every Tuesday. Don't miss our Motivational Mondays every first Monday of every month. This week, we dropped an exclusive Motivational Monday episode with Meta Sandifer Artest, formerly known as Meta World Peace. Ron Artest, for those who haven't been keeping up. Brilliant man, and he blessed us with his presence over the weekend, and we got the episode out
this week. Fan of the show. He was a fan of the show, right?
Big fan of the show, man. We got a lot of fans of the show, man, and we're gonna start bringing them on. So
NFL, NBA, boxing,
all that. NFL, specifically, I stay very in tune with NBA. A lot of fans of the podcast from the NBA. I would venture to say more in the NBA than the NFL.
Damian Lillard, right? Is a fan of the show.
Dame, a lot of fans. Ocho Cinco is a fan of the show. So we're going to start bringing them on for you guys. You guys keep looking out, man. It's going to get bigger and better. I've said that about everything in my life, and I'm blessed that everything has gotten bigger and better. So I'm going to keep saying it.
Well, it keeps working. So. What's there not to like about my boy Shawn Porter?
Appreciate you, man.
But